Hi scientists! Today we're going to review the Moving Man simulation. I'm going to walk through the first two experiments for you, so if you've been having trouble, you can just follow along and copy the data. I've also added a couple of columns to our data table. So you have all the columns that are white, time, and then displacement for experiment 1 and experiment 2. And I've added in position and a calculation column so that you can look at my thought process to find displacement for each of these. Okay, so we are going to start by making our moving man be at position -10 and velocity 1.2 meters per second, because that's what experiment 1 calls for. I'm going to hit play and we'll watch him walk across. One thing that I have done is made sure that this record button is checked so that I'm recording this and then I can play it back, and that will be much easier to collect my data. So we'll watch him finish moving slowly across from one side to the other. And you can see that my position slider is moving across while my velocity slider is staying still. Okay, and he is at the end, and it took him about 17 seconds to get there. So now I'll do playback. And we're going to say that he is at -10. I know that this is slightly off. But we know we started him at -10. So at 0 seconds, we've got -10. And then for my calculation, I'm doing my final position minus my initial position. So in this case, they're the same, and I have gone nowhere, right? I'm still at my starting position. Okay. And then I'm going to press play. When I get to 1 second, I'll pause, and I'm going to record my position. So I've got -8.75. So my calculation will be my final position, right where I am now, minus -10. And so that is 1.25 meters. Then I'll hit play. Pause when I get to 2 seconds. Now I see my position is -7.6. So -7.6 minus -10 is 2.4. And then I'm going to do one more with you, and then I'm going to give you the cooking show version. Okay, so at 3 seconds, my position is -6.7. I'm sorry, -6.4. And so when I do that calculation, -6.4, my current position, minus -10, I come out with 3.6. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next few data points, and I'll catch you back up when we're almost at the end. Okay, so I just finished my 9-second data point, where my position was 0.8, and my displacement was 10.8. And so this makes sense, right, because I'm about at 1, right, about at 0.8 on my ruler, and I've traveled, right, about 11 meters. And we're going to do our last data point right here. And so at 10 seconds, I am at position 2, which means that I've traveled 12 meters. My displacement is 12 meters. Okay, now we are going to do experiment number 2. But before we do that, if you want to pause and copy down this data, again, your data table is just the time column and the displacement column. The position and calculation data are just here for your benefit. So in experiment 2, I start back at -10 meters, and now my velocity is faster. It's 2.4 meters per second. And so the first thing I'm going to do is hit record and hit play, and we'll watch him move across. He's moving quite a bit faster now. You see my position bar, my blue slider moving across, and my velocity slider staying the same. Okay. Okay, so I'm ready to move on to experiment number 2, and I am going to slide this over just so it's easier to see, for you to see the data. And I've reset everything, and now I'm going to do my position, -10. He's back at our starting point, and my new velocity is 2.4. I'm going to make sure that record is checked, and then I'll hit play to watch him walk across. He's moving quite a bit faster this time. I see my position slider moving and my velocity slider staying the same. Okay, and he makes it in about 8.5 seconds. So much speedier time than last time. Now we're going to do the playback. And again, it's a little off here, but my first position, right, we set him at -10. And so I know my displacement is 0. We have gone nowhere. I like to slide the slider just slow because I'm not great at hitting pause at the right time when we do this. It's a little tricky, so that helps me out. All right, so now we're going to look for second number 1. And my position is -7.7. And so -7.7 minus -10, I know is 2.3. My displacement is 2.3. That's how far I've gone. We'll hit play. And then pause for 2 seconds. My new position is -5.2. And so how far I've traveled is 4.8 meters, right? -5.2 minus -10. Let's do one more together. Okay, at 3 seconds, my position is -2.8. And so how far I've gone is 7.2 meters. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and collect the rest of the data, and I'll meet you back when we're almost at the end. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. So at 6 seconds, my position was 4.4 meters, which means that my displacement, how far I traveled, was 14.4 meters. We'll go one more second and see where we're at. 7 seconds, my position is 6.8 meters. And so my displacement is 16.8. One more. 8 seconds, my position is 9.3. So my displacement is 19.3. And then I know I'm not going to get another second's worth of data in. By the time I get to 9 seconds, I'll be through the wall or have hit the wall. So that will be the end of my data collection, and it's okay to just leave these blank. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so I'll slide this back over. But this is all of our data for experiment 1 and experiment 2. Again, the gray data is just for your information. And the white data is what you'll want to copy into your data table. All right, hope this helped. We can definitely chat more in office hours if you want to do experiment number 3 together or you have more questions. I'll see you soon.